Welcome back to my Twitch. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a moment. If you watched me from YouTube, you would know that it hasn't been a moment. I mean, it probably doesn't feel like a moment. But if you have been watching me and following me on Twitch, it's been a little over a month since I've been on here. It's a little different. I know I zoomed myself up because today, at least in this moment for this stream, in this video, I just feel like talking to you guys today. I feel like just talking whatever comes off of my mind. I was trying to take a nap and this topic wouldn't leave my mind, and I started having a conversation in my head, and I was like, well, I could have this conversation with other people online that probably think the same way, feel the same way, or don't think and feel the same way. It doesn't really matter. It's, you know, the internet. You can put what you want out there. And so I'm using my laptop camera. It's the best one I've got other than my iPhone, but I don't know how to really connect my iPhone to Streamlabs, plus have my microphone. I love my microphone and how it sounds and everything. Before I continue, let me make sure I am live on Twitch. So I'm gonna go to my Twitch real quick, make sure I'm live, because I don't have the Twitch app on my phone anymore. I don't have, yeah, we're live. Okay, we're good. I don't have the Twitch app on my phone anymore because I ran out of storage. So I've been gone for the last month. I've been in Maui, Hawaii. I've been visiting my family for the last month, living there for the last month with my grandma. It was a really good time. It's bittersweet to leave. I hate leaving. I cry so much when I leave, but I feel good to be home and back in my own house with AC and Wi-Fi. That is what I missed. Well, I missed my dad and my cats the most, but yeah, anyways, it's nice to have Wi-Fi and AC again, because my grandma's house doesn't have either of that. So as you can tell from the title, today we're going to be talking about people that disrespect pronouns, people that just don't understand pronouns, people that don't want to understand when people come out with their true selves and are saying like, hey, this is me, finally 100% comfortable with myself, this is who I am, and that's it. And then they get some negative feedback and backlash from people that just don't quite get it. And it's a topic that's on my mind a lot, is when it comes to pronouns and genders and sexuality, the people that just don't understand. Because why would it, for me, that doesn't make sense for me, because why would anybody want to be hateful, right? But I guess everybody's mind, depending on the society you were raised on and, you know, the era and all that, it affects how you think, and it affects why you think that way, and it can be hard to get out of that mindset sometimes for some people. So before I start into this conversation, I just want to introduce myself to people that don't know me, and who may not know me, who may know me. My name is Teri Underhill. My pronouns are she, her. I am 21 years old and my sexuality is queer. I know I don't have to say my sexuality, but I have no shame. This is not a coming out video. I've been queer for the last few years, being out. So if you didn't know that, now you know. What's good? Love it, leave it, hate me, don't. It doesn't matter to me. And here's why it doesn't matter to me, and why it may matter for some people that don't get it. When people come out with their pronouns and say things like, not when people come out with their pronouns, but like the people that just don't understand and are being negative and that are being homophobic or transphobic or whatever they may be, but that they're projecting out. I truly believe that people that come out with that kind of mindset and negativity are making it about themselves. They're making it about themselves 100%, whether they realize it or not. you can hear that in the conversations or the comments that they may have, such as you can come out and say like, oh, my, these are my pronouns, da 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 da, and they're gonna respond by saying things like, well, it goes against my religion. I don't understand that. Me, my, you know, they start saying those type of things, and I think those kind of people don't realize, or maybe some of them do realize, that they're making it about themselves. They're making someone, and it's not just pronouns, it's people that come out with who they really are, saying their gender, sexuality, whatever it may be. There's a lot of people that respond by making it about themselves. And that's something that I've just realized, and that's why being myself, I often don't get bothered by, I mean, I do get bothered, but I have to stop myself from fighting them, because I have to realize that they're not thinking about me. They're not really upset that this is how I am. It's something deep down within them, right? They're making it about themselves. It's something in them that they don't understand. It's their issue. It's their problem. I don't think a lot of people realize that. I hope that some people can find comfort in that when I say that. People that put out negativity on you and don't understand who you are just projecting something that's from themselves. They're projecting on something that they have to deal with, that's a personal problem for them, and like I've been saying and repeating, they're making it about them, right? It has nothing to do with you, for the most part. For some people, they may say it's about you, but I don't know. To me, hearing these conversations, a lot of times, again, it's about the negative person. They're talking about themselves in some way or another. Again, like saying my religion goes against my religion. My religion says this. I don't understand. I don't believe that. It doesn't make sense to me. They use those kind of words because it's a personal problem for them. They don't actually have a problem with you. It's something with them. Whether it's how they were raised, language that they were raised on. Man, I was doing so good at talking, and now I'm kind of like, woo. But basically, yeah, it's about them. They're making it about themselves. And then people start making it political. Those people that are negative, they start saying, oh, you're a snowflake, or it's a liberal thing. I saw this trend on TikTok, yeah, and it was like, people go on random people's lives and they'll ask them what their pronouns are to see what their reaction is. And so some people will be like, oh, this is my pronoun, da 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 da. And then you'll have these other people that are like, I don't have pronouns. My pronoun is that bitch. Who's this liberal saying this? You know, they start making it not, they don't quite understand pronouns, or I don't know, maybe it's just a thing of identity for them. Maybe you know what, and it is true. There are people in this world that probably are projecting that hate because they're not accepting of themselves. Not saying everybody that projects hate like that is like that, but you definitely, you know, it's kind of like, oh, this guy hates gay guys, and it's most likely because he's gay himself. Sometimes that is the story of it all. Sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's because people have hidden something about themselves because they can't come to terms with accepting themselves 100%. Maybe there's just some things they haven't healed within themselves and realized within themselves. I just hope that through this, that people can find at least a little comfort and understanding that a lot of times the hatred people will give to you is not actually hatred for you. It is something that they have within themselves. It's something personal. Not saying you can't get hurt by it, because man, I get hurt by it. I get hurt by seeing other people get backlash for being themselves like that. And it's painful. It is. It's hurtful when people just can't accept you for you, because I mean, even to me, I have moments where I'm like, well, it just doesn't make sense why somebody wouldn't just accept and move on, that this is who this person is. Because at the end of the day, like, how I identify has nothing to do with you. It never will have anything to do with you. You are not me. I am not you. How I identify has nothing to do with you. But if you get upset with how I identify, you are making it personal. You are making it about you. You know? I think that's what a lot of people do. And I've been repeating that. I know I've said that so many times throughout this like 11 minutes, but that's something I truly believe. And that's something that helps me have some peace when it comes to negativity and backlash. Being a part of the LGBTQ community is knowing that people that have this spoken hatred, it's because it's something within them that they just haven't come to peace with. It's something within them that they are making it personal. They aren't seeing you as a human anymore. They are seeing it, for some people, they're seeing it as a mirror. Not everybody, but for some people, they're seeing it as a mirror. You being 100% comfortable with yourselves and they're uncomfortable. It is because it's something within them. It has nothing to do with you. There is nothing wrong with you for how you identify. There is never going to be anything wrong with you with how you identify, unless you are hurting people and hurting yourself in the process, you know? Then that's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, if the obvious, you're killing people or however it adds up, then that's wrong, right? But for the most part, it's not like that. And it's not wrong to identify with how you want to identify and what feels right to you and who you really are. It's a mirror, it's a reflection of themselves, it's a personal information is a personal thing for them. I've said that so many times. That's like the word of the day today is personal. It's too personal. When it comes to it becoming political, and I know I'm not the only one that feels this way about it, it's like human rights have become, they've always been, not has just become, it's always been this way. Human rights have always been political. They shouldn't be. It should be obvious that human rights should be rights. But for some people, it's not like that. Excuse me. Was I talking about human rights? That's what I was talking about. It becomes political. The LGBTQ community becomes political. What is it? Feminism, women's rights become political. BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color become political, even though these are all things that, you know, like a Black person cannot change the color of their skin. Indigenous person cannot change their ancestry. People that are in the LGBTQ, this is just how they are. Even people that are transgender, it's in their DNA to be transgender and become who they are. It's made from the start that is who you are. Human rights, right? It's just human. And it becomes political because there are people that don't understand. Again, they make it about themselves. I swear, every problem it seems that we have in this world is because there are people that don't have acceptance and they make it about themselves, right? That's what it feels like. and I'm going to repeat that this whole time, they make it about themselves, so it becomes a bigger issue than sometimes it needs to be. There are some issues that need to be bigger, that get pushed aside, but, I'm one of those people that believes human rights, it shouldn't be political, but it ends up being political. There is a Hawaiian activist. If you don't know, I'm Hawaiian. I'm a hapahaole, so I'm like part Hawaiian. There's I'll minimize myself real quick. Whoop. Do you like my Google search background image? Very nice. There's a Hawaiian activist that recently passed away. I believe she was 71. She passed away July 3rd. This is, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing her name. I've never actually heard her name, but I know who she is, and I admire her words so much. She was such a powerhouse activist for Hawaiians. But anyways, this is Haunani K. Trask, right? You might recognize her from any kind of videos. Is this showing up right? Yeah, this is. Okay. You might recognize her from videos you may see on Instagram and YouTube. She became big on both Hawaii and the mainland for her activism. Some of her famous words is right here where she chants, "We are not American, we are not American, we will die as Hawaiians. We will never be American," because Hawaii, even today, is still dealing with colonization. Used to be a country of its own, used to have a kingdom not long ago, a lot of things. And if you don't know that, I hope you do some research and look it up. Because I am a product of colonization. I am hapahaole, so I am Hawaiian, and I'm white. And because of that, and where I grew up in the Midwest, I wasn't raised to understand my language of Hawaiian. I wasn't raised to understand my history of Hawaiian. The most I got was Pearl Harbor, and that was it. So I'm still doing my own studies and whatnot. Studies on my culture, music, language, hula. I hula dance with a Hawaiian teacher, my kumu, which means teacher. So I'm still studying and learning things, so I apologize if I mispronounced her name or said anything that's not quite right. I'm still learning, and it's a lifelong journey of learning. It's not going to be like 5 years studying and that's all I need to know being a Hawaiian. Like, this is a lifelong journey that I have had since birth. Realizing it or not, this has been a lifelong journey. And just this past week coming home, I've decided to become even more strict with my studies of my culture and my ancestry and my blood, because there are just dreams I want to achieve. I want to live on my grandma's property one day. I want to just it's my blood, it's my culture. I just want to understand it more, like a lot of Hawaiians do. And so she said, Haunani said something along the lines of, you have to be political about these things. I'll have to look up the exact quote if I can. But it was basically like, you have to be political in these things if you want change. And if you want like positivity and a movement, you have to be political. When it comes to these things, let me see if I can look it up. Look up like quotes. Political. Those weren't like obviously word for word. It was let me see. She also has a book, which is right here. You can look for it on Amazon. I don't have the book yet. I'm slowly studying my books. I'm not just reading through them. When it comes to my Hawaiian books, hula books, language books, anything Hawaiian, I am slowly reading through them and studying. maybe I have to look for it here. Our culture has to be the core of our resistance, the core of our anger, the core of our mana, which is like spirit. That's what culture is for. She reminded Native Hawaiians that as cultural people, they too have to become political. Yeah. You know, to keep culture alive, basically, you have to become political, otherwise colonization is just gonna change it all. And it's, yeah, I have free background music on it. This song is kind of throwing me off, so I'm just gonna start it like at this one. Even though I have it on loop, but yeah, you have to become political. And it's like that with a lot of things, like I said, LGBTQ, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, Hawaiians are Indigenous, women's rights, feminism. As hard as it can be to be political, being an adult, because it never clicked for me as a teenager or a child. I protested, but I never considered myself into politics. My brain kind of processes things a bit slowly, so I don't always speak out with facts, because I want to make sure that I actually understand what I'm saying. And there's a lot of people in this world that just speak out on things that they don't understand what they're saying, you know what I mean? They might just repeat things, and it's important, you know, I was raised to have my own voice and to have my own opinions and things like that. Anyways, as a teenager and a child, I didn't really consider myself political. I'm gonna make myself bigger again and just do this. Haha. Anyways, I didn't consider myself political until I became an adult, and I realized that you kind of have to become political in these life things and life events if you want change. You realize that you have to become political if you want change. If you want things to change, stay the same, go back. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like that in everything. If you want change in, you know, the injustice that's in the system in America, if you want change, you end up being political. If you want change, Native Hawaiian rights, you end up being political because, you know, there are laws, there are rules that end up happening. People take power, take too much power. It all ends up being political, whether you want it to or not. And whether you realize it or not, it all ends up political, right? And something else that bothers me is that people that just can't handle politics, or people that say that they can't watch the news because it's too much. Or, you know, like social media can be too much, but I still believe it is important to keep up with the world around you, or at least your community, your people, whoever it may be, your group. Keep up with them, keep track, stay educated, keep educating yourself on issues that are at least close to you. It could be as close as just like family issues, you know what I mean? Like just staying educated on things. It bothers me when people are saying things like it's too political, things are too much. I mean, I get it, things can be overwhelming. That's why I often don't speak factual about things, because there's a lot of facts, there's a lot of numbers to things, right? And I want to make sure that I fully understand it, so I'll do like my learning back behind everything, and support things, but I don't always speak out on certain subjects because I don't want to say the wrong information. I don't want to repeat information that I don't understand and just repeat, because there are people like that in the world. It can be overwhelming, but I don't think it's ever too much, especially if it is something that affects your loved ones, your family, the people around you. So while politics to younger people can be annoying, you grow up and you realize that it's necessary in the end. It is what keeps human rights going. And it's frustrating. Things happen. Injustice happens so much, unfortunately. But that's why we keep fighting. You keep staying educated. You keep checking in with yourselves and being in tune with yourselves and making sure that you don't lose why you started your fight, why you started being secure with yourself and your mind. I hope I'm making sense. I'm kind of just rambling on things that are in my mind. I'm not looking at a paper or anything. I'm just kind of like staring off and talking. I hope I'm making sense. I hope some of you can resonate with that. I know not everybody's gonna agree. And, you know, for the most part, I think the things that I'm speaking on are vague. Because, like I said, my brain processes things slowly and I don't always talk factual, like numbers. Factual is what I'm saying. But yeah, people that have an issue with you really just have an issue with themselves. Is what I've learned and what gives me peace in most situations and what stops me in a lot of situations from just fighting like and saying nonsense, mean things, because it's so easy to do that, especially online. It's easy to just comment and call people names and be mean and things like that, but you realize that there are bigger and better things that you got to use your voice for and fight for and use your time for, and you realize that you just can't waste it. You can't waste your voice. Don't waste your breath on bullshit that just won't matter the next day. Use your voice for things that are going to make a difference. Use your voice for things that are going to impact your life, change your life for the better, your community. You know, and yeah, I'm not saying you have to go change the world. I'm not saying you have to use your voice to change the world. You could just start with your community. You can only do your community if you want, your town, your family, yourself. Check in with yourself. Always check in with yourself. You know, you can do all these things, as I believe, as long as you're doing them for the right reasons and you're not hurting people. You're not hurting anybody and you're not hurting yourself. Well, that was almost like 30 minutes of just me talking, but that's been on my mind. I was trying to take a nap, but this same conversation was kind of looping in my mind and I just felt like I had to say something. And this is a bit different for a Twitch stream and a bit different for a YouTube video, but I don't know what that was. But it was important for me to get out there. I'm going to be back to streaming games very soon, maybe tonight even, if not tonight, for sure tomorrow, because I always like to stream on Sundays, especially since I'm back. And I got other things planned that I would like to record for YouTube and things like that. So thank you all so much for listening. What was that? I just hear noises. Thank you all so much for listening. And yeah, mahalo nui loa. Thank you. Peace.